Hello and welcome to Crime Watch. I'm Ivy Kano. More and more questions are still being raised in the debate as to whether Nigeria is truly winning its war against insecurity, a full-scale assault on the nation's ability to defend and protect itself is now at the center of it all. Just a day after gunmen released 42 people, including 27 students, who were kidnapped from a boarding school some weeks ago in Niger State, bandits struck again, this time in the remote village of Jangebe in Zamfara State, abducting more than 300 schoolgirls. 279 of the students have been released by their adopters, but this latest episode is a case of relief mixed with desperate prayers that Jangobe would indeed be the last. Or perhaps the issues run deeper than many think and could mean insecurity may remain with us for another 20 years, as was recently suggested by former Chief of Army Staff Tuko Borotai at the Senate. Let's remind you of what Defense Minister Bashir Magashi told Nigerians in a recent chat with journalists.
Is it the responsibility of the military alone? It's the responsibility of everybody to keep alert and find safety when necessary. But we shouldn't be cowards. At times, the banditry will only come with about 3 rounds of ammunition. When they fire shot, everybody runs. In our younger days, we stand to fight any aggression coming to us. I don't know why people are running away from mano, things like that. They should stand and let these people know that even the villagers, they have the competence and capability to defend themselves.
Whereas the defense minister's cure for insecurity requires little interpretation, the question many are left with whether this won't eventually lead to a worse state of crisis. Considering the proliferation of arms and ammunition, doesn't it look like we are worsening the state of insecurity and the federal government ceding its responsibility of protecting lives and property by asking Nigerians to defend themselves?
Let us try, because we already have these service chiefs now, so we shouldn't just try to demoralize them. Let us try to look at what he wanted to say, because the army has the Institute of Public Relations, and there is a School of Army Public Relations, which we expect that all these officers that have gotten to that level should have attended to have the kind of communication that the public will understand. Okay, let's agree that he wanted to say the civilians, the citizens should harden their target. And if you say people should harden their target, it's different from when you are saying people should defend themselves. Because if I harden my target, I'm actually going to be living in a community that all of us will behave and act in a way that will mitigate opportunities for all of these insecurity situations that we have. But when you say defend yourself, that means you are asking them to act outside of the Constitution. And the same military will be asked to defend on such citizens, and the police will come and say they are mopping up arms. So that kind of statement is not allowed. It's sending the wrong body language, and we expect that the military should address it properly before it gets out of context. I would like to agree, and I would like to disagree. Now, let me tell you why I will agree with his comment. I will agree with his comment because that is the reason why his stay was elongated. Because he has tried everything that he thinks is appropriate and it's not working, and he feels that by his conclusion at his exit, that this is going to take 20 years. I disagree on the grounds that his application of intelligence, response, reactions, and combat strategies were mostly behind time. Most of the things that the military are doing are not working within the framework of ops intelligence. When you see intelligence coming to you about insurgency personnel, insurgency terrorist groups, moving from one place to the other. You are supposed to immediately use that intelligence and act immediately, because the counterintelligence is also available to monitor what you are doing. You know, certain times we hear that a community, a village is going to be attacked, and the intelligence is sometimes at public space, and you don't act on such intelligence. Sometimes we hear from soldiers that they have this information and they pass it to the upper hierarchy of the military, and action was not taken, and now they have lost so many of their colleagues. So you can see that intelligence is hot and brewing and should be actioned. So by the time he has concluded that we have 20 years, and so many of us are seeing that we have many opportunities to rouse these people, to reduce their effectiveness, to reduce their expansion, to weaken their hold and control, and the use of fear for the populace. So I think these transactions are wrong, and I think that the government and the people should look more into the postulations of security practitioners, should go over time, go to YouTube, do your research. So many security practitioners have tabled enough possibilities to rouse these people. And I'm sure that this new set of military heads, military chiefs, should begin to explore some of these possibilities. You see, when you create a monster, it's usually difficult for you to destroy that monster, because you will be stuck with sentiment and emotions. Most of these criminal elements that you see that we are negotiating with, we created them. But if you look back to like 20 years from today, some of these boys that are bandits and all that, they were stooges. So people being used by those in government to intimidate opponents. We exploit the unpoliced areas, and we use it as hideout for political thugs, people we gave the power to oppress government security agencies. Where you see a boy will walk into a DPO's office and he's under arrest, and he's telling the DPO that he should mind himself, or else he will lose his job. And that guy, the DPO understands immediately that this one is coming from their camp. And before you know, phone calls start coming. Most of these northeast, northwest bandits that you are seeing, they were encouraged, they were pampered, they were given an upper hand against our agency. How can you negotiate with armed men? From where did that come from? You know, and this thing is getting heated, because statements are being made as signing divisional tactics in the military. You can hear the esteemed Sheikh Gumi when he said that the military know where the bandits are, but they are constrained to respond tactically. He's saying that the governors and the government know where the bandits are, but they are constrained because of underlying issues. One of the underlying issues is that most of the things these bandits are doing is retaliatory. Are you allowed to retaliate? Where did you get the audacity to retaliate in a lawful country, that you can report when you are taken advantage of by any group of persons, any religious body, any political ethnic group taking advantage of you? You report to the government, you take the case to court, you go to the High Court, you go to the Supreme Court, you go to ECOWAS Court, you go to International Court. There are levels that you can escalate. You can also protest. You can come to the street and protest. So the government should wake up. The government should put its acts together and they should begin to down tension by taking action, immediate action, especially on criminal activity.